Welcome to Incredible Idaho. I'm Jack Hemingway. Our show has explored a wide spectrum of wildlife research, from sage grouse and bighorn sheep to salmon and caribou. But a show like this can be quite deceptive. We tend to condense an extensive research project into a tightly packed 6 or 7 minutes. But in reality, good, solid scientific research requires years of study and careful data gathering before any conclusion can be drawn. Time is the key. It took 2 million years of wind and water to shape these towering basalt cliffs along the Snake River Canyon. But it only took a century to change the flatlands above. The last 100 years has seen drought, livestock grazing, and military maneuvers combine to dramatically alter the land. But this area still supports the largest population of nesting raptors in the world. Among the birds of prey that use this area are prairie falcons, an estimated 200 pair. Earlier this spring, Incredible Idaho took you along on a capture operation. An adult male was trapped and fitted with a small radio transmitter harnessed to his back. Biologists from Green Fault Consultants are tracking him and 30 other prairie falcons in a study funded by the Bureau of Land Management and the Idaho National Guard. The idea is to measure the effects of military exercises on these raptors and their prey. Intermittent military activity occurs on a 138,000-acre territory within the birds of prey area all year long. But at intervals throughout the summer, it escalates into a series of 2-week annual training sessions for National Guard units from all over the country. Alongside the khaki, camouflage, tanks, and targets are biologists charting the behavior of the birds of prey.
They seem to be more active in the morning, and I observed a prairie falcon and a northern harrier using this area.
The observations that biologist James McKinley makes today will be compared to those he made a week earlier, when the same area appeared like this. This is the second season of a 5-year study. Long-term observations are necessary to judge other influences such as drought, livestock grazing, and fluctuating prey populations before conclusions can be drawn about the effect of military activity. But this year, biologists are entering a second phase of the study.
On belay.
Up until now, researchers have followed each marked prairie falcon and kept an account of the number of nestlings they hatch. But no data has been gathered on survival once the young fledge and leave the nest. This year, biologists are radio marking and following the offspring as well.
1, 2, 3. I can see 4 chicks, and we do have 5 here.
It's kind of a result of, I think, the need to look more at what's going on with the population rather than just the individual adults.
So I've got the 5 chicks in here now. I'll get this pack back on my back.
Biologists call it productivity.
Okay, I'm heading up, Linda.
And it's a measure of how successful a pair of adults are, not only at nesting, but more importantly, bringing off independent young.
A lot of nestlings die before they become independent, and the further along you can get a good measure of the productivity of that pair, the better off you are in terms of knowing how man is affecting that productivity.
These chicks are about 29 days old. Once they hatch, the young grow rapidly, fledging, that is, leaving the nest, at about 38 days. This is the prime time for the biologists to attach radio transmitters. The nestlings are old enough to tolerate some disturbance, but too young to fly.
This is a small leg mount or tarsal mount radio that we're putting on.
It's attached with cotton thread that will eventually rot, allowing the bird to shed the transmitter within a year.
The females are larger than the males. In fact, the easiest way to tell usually is to look at their legs. The female has a much heavier tarsus and just a bigger foot than the male does.
The 2 males and 3 females are packed down the cliff and back into the nest. As the biologists leave the area, the shrill challenge of the circling adults echoes off the canyon walls. 1 week later, during routine radio tracking, research biologist Mary McFadden suspects a dead fledgling. In a marmot hole immediately above the nest, a chick lies motionless.
Oh, there's a little fledgling. You know what? They were laying down in the marmot hole. That's what they were doing. They were sleeping. Great.
In 1 week, the young prairie falcons have changed dramatically. Most of the fluffy down has been replaced by feathers. They're only a few days away from flying. This little jaunt up to the marmot hole is just a first step to exploring the big world that awaits them, the magnificent cliffs and canyons of the Snake River. Biologists will track the young fledglings every 3 days for the next month and a half. Each year in late July, the ground squirrels go into hibernation, and the prairie falcons disperse, looking for better hunting grounds.